Hell yeah. Wyatt begins in like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. On fire. Yo, welcome to Wyatt. And I'm your host, Wyatt O'Brien Evans. Woof, goddammit, woof, 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 woof. Hi. I said hi to all my YouTubers out there. If you like what you hear and if you like what you see, then click all of them subscribe buttons at the bottoms of all of your screens. And because I know you loves me, I know you do, give me some likes. And because I always like to know what you are like thinking, send me feedback because it's always greatly appreciated. Hi, mark the date. August the 18th, that's when my new novel, the sequel, the latest installment in the Nothing Can Tear Us Apart series of novels drops. It's called Ruthless. I said Ruthless. And y'all, Ruthless is H-A-W-T-I. It's erotic. It's explosive. It's like this roller coaster ride, and you are on the edge of your seat. So mark the date, August the 18th. All right, today's Wyatt welcomes Mr. Mark Campbell. He's a licensed mental health counselor. He is an author also. He's an LGBTQ plus advocate, and he's here to talk about his journey, his beginnings, all about mental health. And, you know, this is a critical episode of Wyatt. I mean, because we have been, you know, the whole population seems to be going through all of this stress and trauma. So I'm glad to have Mark with us. So let's get into it. So without further ado, Wyatt, I said Wyatt, welcomes Mark Campbell, a well-respected and uber dope, yeah, I said uber dope, licensed mental health counselor, LGBTQ plus advocate and author. Talk at me, my brother. How the hell are you?
I'm doing so well. Thank you for having me, Wyatt. I'm happy to be here.
Listen, my pleasure. Did you like that intro?
I loved it. Yeah, super dope. Great word.
Thank you so much. Thank you also for taking the time to pull up to the Wyatt mic. And man, listen, I'm so glad to have you on the show because, you know, our conversation is especially important given the stress and the trauma our nation is now experiencing, you know, particularly within the Black community. So you are a licensed mental health counselor. Acronym is LMHC, an LGBTQ plus advocate, and an author dedicated to helping queer individuals and families thrive. Now, your profile states your areas of focus include LGBTQ plus mental health, depression and anxiety, trauma and PTSD, men's issues, couples counseling, and racial and multicultural identity. That's a lot. What drew you to these specialties?
I think over time, just getting different experience and meeting different people, you kind of see some reoccurring themes that are going on. And with that, you gain a lot of experience. Like for LGBTQ, most of my clients are in that community. I'm in that community myself. And so I learn about just the unique challenges that we face, and same with multicultural issues. Most of my clients are people of color, specifically Black, and so yeah, that's just unique challenges, racial trauma that we can deal with, and I'm really happy to and honored to be able to support those communities.
And you know what? We're glad to have you because we need more of you. We really do. So now, Mark, you're based in the Orlando, Florida area, and you have in-person treatment as well as telehealth services, correct?
So I am only virtual right now.
Oh,
You
okay.
know, paying for that in-person office is really expensive. So
Yeah.
only virtual, but Hopefully down the line that kind of opens up.
Hmm. Well, we're glad that you do that. I want to discuss your therapeutic approaches, which are primarily narrative therapy, integrated, I believe, with multicultural and cognitive behavioral therapy, which is CBT.
Mhm.
Would you mind explaining, describing those types of therapy and why you incorporated them in your practice?
Yeah, so CBT to start is kind of more of the like one of the OG modalities in therapy. And so that's usually one that a lot of therapists learn in grad school.
Hmm.
And it has a lot of helpful components, but I have found that with Black people specifically, different modalities might be a little bit more helpful.
Okay.
And multicultural counseling is simply like looking at different aspects of your identity and how they impact your life, whether that's gender or religion, race, sexuality. And so I like to combine that with narrative therapy because
Oh.
narrative therapy is like looking at your life like a story, like a book. And so,
Ah,
how do your different identities incorporate into your story, and how can we work together to write a story that works for you? To look at past chapters of your life and see, like, oh, this is something that has helped me survive. Is this something I want to continue doing? Or is it something that I want to tweak a little bit to go from surviving to thriving? And so I really like the marriage of narrative and multicultural counseling. And then with
hmm.
CBT, that kind of helps me fill in some gaps. But in the counseling field, there's always new research. And so I'm always, willing to learn and grow and see what else is out there.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, because I was going to ask you exactly what narrative therapy is. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, thank you
Yeah,
for
it's
that.
not a common one. Like a lot of
Right.
people don't really know much about it.
And with that, you're really just peeling back the layers of your life and your behavior, I take it. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. It's really helpful to kind of see yourself as the protagonist of your own story. It gets you
Ah,
a better sense of like agency. A lot of people, for good reason, I mean, trauma happens. We can sometimes feel like life happens to us, and it does
right.
happen to us. But we also have some power to write our own story. And so narrative is very empowering in that sense. Black people, we can't run away from racism. Like it's gonna hunt us down and find us. But if we're in control of our story, if we seek out community and support, that makes it bearable. And in
Yeah.
fact, like you can end up thriving in oppressive systems if you build the community and you feel like you have some power in your story.
Wow. That's really interesting because that really appeals to me being a novelist. So thank you for
Mm,
yeah, for sharing that. Okay. Before we dig deeper, Mark, into what you do and how you do it, let's sashay down the quarters of time and chop it up about your backstory because we here at Wyatt, we are nosy like that.
I love it. I'm nosing myself. That's part of the reason I became a therapist. So.
Love it. I love it. I love it. Okay.
Uh,
All right.
my origin story is a little unique. I'm a military brat,
Okay.
so I was born in Santa Ana, California, but part of my childhood was spent in Okinawa, Japan, and part of my childhood was in Orange Park, Florida, which is a little south of Jacksonville. Both
Hmm.
of my parents are Marines, so very a strict background, but some really great lessons and values instilled in me. My brother went on to become a Marine as well, my older brother. And
Wonderful.
yeah, I had a lot of pressure to become a Marine, but back then, I knew I was queer, I knew I was gay, and so it didn't feel safe for me at the time.
Yeah.
And so I went a different route and went to UCF, which is University of Central Florida in Orlando here, and pursued the path of therapy and never looked back since then.
Interesting. Okay, for the fun of it, I'm going to take you back a little bit because I like to ask my guests this question. What was Mark like as a little boy, a little nipper? Give us like three characteristics, attributes that describe you.
Yeah, I would say introverted is one for sure. I just hid away a lot. Like guests would come over, I'd try to hide in my room, just very shy and introverted. I liked living in my own head a lot.
Mhm.
I would say another trait is curious. I have always loved learning and reading books and just yeah, seeing new things, expanding my horizons. And
Mhm.
another one is, I guess, kind of just like soft, I guess, in the sweetest sense of the world, were just like gentle and soft and kind. And um, even though I was introverted, I did always like hearing about other people's stories and kind of
Interesting.
offering support.
Hmm. So you have that whole empathy thing going on.
Yeah, I guess part of it is I felt pretty lonely as a kid, and so having that empathy of like, yeah, a lot of us feel lonely, and so just having someone to sit there and listen to you is great. I remember in high school, I used to get in trouble when I'd be on the phone with my friends until like 3 or 4 a.m. and my mom would come in my room and be like,
Uh
"Boy,
oh.
you need to go to bed."
Yeah.
But I love just like asking deep questions and hearing about their lives, and yeah, it was really fun.
That's what you need to be a great therapist. Yeah. Okay. Um, let's fast forward. What exactly inspired you to become a mental health counselor? Was there like a defining moment that made you realize that this was your calling?
Yeah, I actually think it was very slow and gradual over time. I think in high school, I used to get a lot of feedback about being a good listener and offering support. And then studying psychology, I think originally I wanted to eventually get a PhD and become a professor, maybe. But
That's great.
um, yeah, I just decided that, a master's degree and becoming a licensed therapist, just being with clients and gaining that experience was really meaningful. Yeah, I feel like just along the way it clicked and I felt like this is kind of the only job for me. Eventually, I did dabble in writing, and so that's a new endeavor recently, these last few years, that I've fallen in love with. But um, being a therapist is my one true love.
And we're going to talk about your books a little bit later because you're an author. So hey, um, now you earned your master's degree in counselor education from the University of Central Florida. So Mark, tell us about the university experience. What was it like, and how has it shaped you into the professional that you are today?
Yeah, I do want to shout out my school. It had a really great counseling program, Go Knights. Um, I just had a lot of wonderful professors that really saw me for me. And for example, I had a professor, Dr. Barden, and she's the one that said maybe narrative therapy is something you should look into. And I had another professor, Dr. Joe, in which she was doing HIV research.
Oh,
And
okay.
so just having a lot of professors where they saw me and, poured into me was really meaningful. And then also, the program was pretty diverse. There was a good mix of people from all over the world, different backgrounds, from Turkey, from Egypt, Black people, brown
Oh.
people. And so getting to connect with a lot of different people was wonderful. And that's where I met two of my best friends, Kevin and Chelsea.
Hmm.
And Chelsea is the one that I'm writing the Black Queer Mental Health Handbook with.
Right.
And so my grad school experience was just pretty perfect. I mean, other than
That's great.
internship and the stress of just trying to get a bunch of papers done, I wouldn't trade it for anything.
That is excellent, my brother. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, look. Can you tell us more about your journey as a black queer man entering the mental health profession?
Yeah, it is a unique one for sure. I was actually fortunate that there was two other Black queer men in my grad program,
Mm-hmm.
but it is a very unique experience. So I have a story about day one in my ethics class.
Okay.
This older white professor, she was wonderful, but she mixed up the names of me and the other black student in class.
Uh-oh.
She called me Kevin and called him Mark, and she owned up to it. And she said out loud to the whole class, I've never had two black boys in my class before.
Boys?
She did say boys, which is another
Okay.
layer.
Oh,
That
Lord.
was day one in grad school, and I was just telling you about how wonderful it was. But there's bumps in the
Of
road for
course.
any journey.
Yeah,
So,
could have been
yeah,
worse.
there's not many of us. It can be a little bit challenging. And then, being black is one thing. A black therapist, there's not many of us, but queer as well. And I think being part of the LGBT community, I wanted to gain experience with that community. And so that led me to intern with Zebra Coalition, which is a nonprofit here in Orlando.
Uh-huh.
And I was running a queer support group there, in which I learned a lot
Right.
about trans people and gender identity and things like that. And
Mm-hmm.
also found that I love working with that population, love working with kids. I love providing gender affirming care, even though it's not really legal in Florida-ish,
Yeah.
but I'm a rebel and a rule breaker.
No. I'm so glad you are. We need more of you. We really, really do, man. Ah, wow.
Thank you. I
Okay.
appreciate that.
Oh, sure. Oh, what obstacles did you encounter along the way and how did you overcome them?
Ooh, um, I feel like a lot of the obstacles were like identity based.
Mhm.
It can feel very isolating to not see a lot of people like you. Growing up in high school,
Yeah.
majority white, being not out at that point in life, and
Hmm.
same thing with undergrad. Grad school, fortunately, was more diverse, but I feel like one main obstacle is just feeling othered and feeling like you don't
Mm.
belong and having to endure and push through and tell yourself you do belong, and also having those wonderful people that come into your life and show you that you belong and support you along the way.
Hmm.
But I think that's something a lot of people can relate to on their journey, is just um, maybe not feeling good enough or feeling different or excluded.
Yeah.
And that's a really big mental obstacle. I mean, other than the financial obstacle of 100+ thousand dollars in student loans, that's a big one too, but that one's worth it to do your dream job.
Hmm. Okay. Like I said, we're so glad you're here because we need to clone you. We need more of you. Uh, so I'll listen. I'm going to look into that after the show's over about how we can clone
Okay,
you,
great. This sounds wonderful.
and maybe some of them can help you pay off your student debt. So
Oh, okay. Now we're on to something. Now we're
see,
cooking.
see, I'm looking out for you. I'm looking out for you.
I love that.
Okay. Anyway, regarding your practice, what are the most common concerns LGBTQ plus queer clients bring into your office?
Oh, that is a wonderful question. Hmm. I feel like a common concern is dealing with like symptoms of depression and anxiety. I
Mm-hmm.
think, you know, it, it's hard to talk about this because I don't want it to seem like being queer means you automatically deal with mental health issues. That's
Right.
not the case, you know.
Absolutely.
Being
Absolutely.
black doesn't mean you automatically deal with mental health issues.
Right.
And at the same time, it is harder to navigate the world
It is.
as a person. It can be, there's unique challenges that we face as Black people. And so that's like a weight. And that weight can show up as depression. That weight can show up as being tired every day. That
Mhm.
weight can show up as feeling numb. That weight can show up as just worrying about, your bills or what the
Right.
future holds. And I think part of what I do is to help people feel empowered in their identities versus it feeling like an additional weight.
Right.
And so I think that's another common issue with those populations. And
Mhm.
it's so fulfilling to see just the growth, like um, Black people and queer people, we take a lot of pain and we
Mhm.
have a lot of potential for growth and healing. And once we do that, there's no stopping us. It's really wonderful and magical to see.
You know what? I love those two words, wonderful and magical. Um, yeah, that means a
I
lot.
think I, yeah, I think I had some feelings there for you.
Yeah, I mean, because through the years I've experienced depression. The whole trying to come out, accepting
Mhm.
being same gay, same gender loving, that whole thing. So it was a process
Yes,
for me. So I
it's
totally
a
get
hard
it.
one.
It's hard. And speaking of that, I am an intimate partner violence and abuse advocate and subject matter expert.
Hmm.
So have you had patients who've experienced this type of dysfunctional behavior, and how prevalent is it in LGBTQ plus relationships?
Yeah, I have had some experience with it, not too much. It's a little bit harder to navigate couples counseling virtually, so I don't have many couples that I work with.
Right.
But back when I worked at a community mental health center, I saw people that were victims of domestic violence, unfortunately. And also, unfortunately, it is pretty common in the LGBTQ community.
It is.
Uh, a lot of people can sometimes find partners and be isolated from their friends and families because of
Mhm.
not having support or many different issues, and that can lead to very scary and toxic situations. And yeah, it's so good to have people that advocate for victims of domestic violence because there's a lot of support that's needed in that area.
Absolutely. I mean, because I'm a survivor, so I totally
Yeah.
get it.
Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, certainly. And the thing of stigma is such a big problem because
Mhm.
stigma is responsible for sometimes a dramatic underreporting in IPVA cases,
Yes.
particularly where men are concerned because, let's be honest, no man wants it known that another man is kicking his ass. Is that
Right.
the whole machismo, the whole self-esteem piece. So
Right.
how can victims overcome stigma to make their great escape?
Yeah, that is, I mean, that's a wonderful question, and it's a big question. I think having, I mean, people like you talk about it and destigmatize it, we need to normalize it. We need to have more discussions around it. And I think probably the number one indicator of people coming forward is having support, having community.
Mm-hmm.
And community can look like a lot of things. That's not just family, but it can be friends, it can be your therapist, your doctor. I mean, if you just tell one person, and it has to be the right person, but if you just tell one person, that can make all the difference that you need, whether it's a professor or teacher or mentor or your neighbor, that can be all the support you need. So, yeah, having community and sharing experiences helps a lot with that.
Mm-hmm. And thank you for sharing that. Um, Judge Star Jones on Divorce Court. I love watching Divorce Court. She says that
Oh, I actually haven't seen it.
she's funny. She is so funny. She gives good common sense solutions as well. But
Oh, I love that.
yeah, we need more of that too, right? But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, what makes what makes me laugh about her is that she says that social media is the devil. So my question to you is this: how has social media affected LGBTQ plus mental health both positively and negatively?
Ooh, yeah, social media, that
Hmm.
is a topic. That's a big one. Starting with negative and ending with positive, I think um, we have seen a lot of just algorithms and companies tailoring their algorithms to support certain ideologies,
Hmm.
um, typically more right wing or so ideologies that are harmful towards queer people. Um, I, yeah, and so that's one thing. It can spread hate speech really easily, really quickly. It can
Mm.
spread false information quickly, especially with AI. You can have AI videos that look real and that
Yeah.
can negatively impact people. It's just yeah, it's a slippery slope and it's moving really quickly, and there aren't common sense solutions for the negative side of it. And on the positive side, I think it is a powerful tool to find community. Um, the
Yeah.
only thing is, once you find it, it's to try to move it from digital online to in person. But I mean, I have clients, like I have a queer kid client who's been friends with someone in London since he was 12 years old. And he just
Oh,
met her in person this year.
yeah.
And like, that's a beautiful thing. He met her through maybe Tumblr or Snapchat or, one of the social media apps, or maybe Tumblr was already gone by then. But yeah, this is such a nice way for queer people to find each other and build that community.
Hmm.
But social media, it has a lot of work to do, and I don't have the solutions, but it can negatively impact people's mental health.
Well, at least you ended on a positive note, which is which is a good.
Yes, finding community. Use the apps to find your people.
There you go. I love it. I love it. Okay, look. Okay, you're an author. Okay, you have a book. We're going to talk about both books, but the first one I want to talk about is I Love My Queer Kid. So, what inspired you to write it?
Ooh, okay. Yeah, hearing that I'm an author, that's a new thing. I'm still trying to internalize it and really like believe it. But yeah, I am an author, thank you.
Mm.
And I Love My Queer Kid came from a place of anger, actually.
Oh, wow.
And sometimes people think that anger is a negative thing. I mean, a lot of us, we don't like feeling angry, but anger is a powerful emotion that can drive us to act. And so at that time, I was a middle school counselor in Lake County, which is a rural area in Central Florida.
Okay.
And it was around the time that anti trans laws were building up in Florida because of our
Okay.
governor, DeSantis. And I was seeing it impact my middle schoolers as a school counselor.
Mm.
And what we did there at that school is we started a school-wide daily emotion check-in system.
Mm-hmm.
Green was for happy, blue was for sad, yellow, anxious, and red was not okay. And so once we had that system running, we pulled the data and we were like, okay, which of these students are in the red? And every morning we would disperse and meet with all the students in the red. Now, fortunately, our school was small, 500 kids versus some other middle schools have over 1,000 or 2,000. And so sometimes it'd be like two students um, the whole week. But what I was learning meeting with these students that put they weren't okay is that they were all queer, 100% of them.
Wow.
They were all part of the LGBTQ community,
Wow.
and they were all suicidal, every
Ooh.
last one.
Oh no.
I get emotional talking about it, but
Sure.
yeah, that weight and that sadness and anger, I just felt like I needed to do more. The first thing I did is I asked my principal to start a support group for the queer kids at the
Mm-hmm.
school. Again, it was against the rules. It was against state law, but she said you can start one, just don't call it LGBT support group. So I called it a social support group.
Uh-huh.
But all the kids in it were queer, so we were kind of breaking some rules, breaking, some rules, but whatever. All for the kids.
That's right.
Um, and so, yeah, I just starting that support group was very fulfilling, creating a space for these kids and then working with them. I learned that their parents need the help. And a lot of times their parents need the help more than the queer kids in the sense of it's such a new thing for them to understand.
Absolutely.
Um, Queer people, we have most of our lives to figure things out internally in our own
Mm-hmm.
minds. But when a parent finds out that their kid is a lesbian or gay or bisexual or trans, in that moment, they're now processing it. And so I wanted to create a book for the parents, for them to work through their feelings, and to offer support for their kid. I just felt like that was a avenue that I can make impact outside of the school, outside of therapy sessions.
Wow, that is wonderful.
Thank
Oh,
you.
oh, sure. Here's a good question, I think, anyway. What do parents most often misunderstand about their queer children?
Yeah, wow, that is a really good question. I think, I mean, there's a lot of things I hear.
Sure.
One is like, this is a phase kind of misunderstanding,
Okay.
which discovering yourself can be a fluid experience. It can be dynamic. Like one day you can feel like you're this identity, the next you could be like, maybe it's not that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one. And I think another thing that I hear a lot is it's for attention. Kids do a
Oh.
lot of things for attention, but this is one of those things that most kids, the vast majority, don't want to,
Mm-mm.
come out just for attention. Like
Mm-mm.
it's a hard thing to do is to share your authentic self. And so I think that's one thing parents misunderstand.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think another thing, and this is more internal, is that they lost the child that they thought they knew or had.
Ah,
And
yeah.
so parents start
Mm.
like grieving because the second a child is born, a lot of parents like picture or imagine their future. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, my kid's gonna have this or do this. And so them coming out can kind of shatter that dream a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But they have to remember they're not losing their child. They're actually gaining a deeper connection with their child. And so it just takes time to reimagine a different
Mm.
future for that kid.
Man, you hit the nail on the head. I know that well because I have four sisters. I'm the
Mm.
only boy. And
Wow.
yeah, my mother had this whole thing, be a lawyer or be a doctor, have 2.5 kids at whole picket fence. And when she found out that
Right.
I was gay, same gender loving, it took her a long time to process that because you're
Mm.
absolutely correct. So many parents from the jump have this, they just have this image, this
It's
vision of,
crystallized too. Like
yeah,
it's solid image.
yeah, it's like a diamond. You just can't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're
So
trying to chip away at it, and it's really hard for them.
yeah,
So
so
having something for them to work through is my intention with this book.
I like it. Okay, here's
Mhm.
another one for you. If every parent, Mark, read just one chapter of your book, which one would you hope they read first?
Oh, that is a really good question.
Am I doing
Wyatt,
my job
you're
today?
great.
Am I doing my
I
job
love
today?
this conversation. I'm having fun. This is awesome. Um, yeah, so I mean, so there are different chapters. Like some chapters are on gender identity, for example. If I would love for all parents to read that chapter, but if their kid isn't non-binary or gender non-conforming or trans, it's less important. I think the chapter, and it's I'm blanking which chapter it is, but that's okay. It's in the book. I think the grief chapter, which I take the stages of grief, and like we were talking about earlier, I have the parents kind of work through the stages of grief to
Oh, okay.
process that reimagining of their child's future. And I think that is one of the biggest challenges. And so that's pretty important chapter for the parents to read is to allow themselves to grieve because it can be a little sad. Like you imagine a life for your kid, and
Hmm.
um, sometimes it won't look exactly like that. But the new picture that you can paint for your kid can be even more vibrant and beautiful than the old picture.
I like that. I like that a lot. Okay. In August, the second edition of I Love My Queer Kid will be released. Tell us more. How will this be different? Are you adding additional information? What's going on?
Yeah, so the first edition is a 9 weeks like program. Each chapter is a week.
Okay.
I broke it up in weeks because I don't want parents to feel like they have to speed through it, and I want parents to kind of steadily work through the steps and the exercises, but not be overwhelmed because, taking care of kids and working and just yeah, life is busy. So the first edition has 9 weeks, the second edition has 10 weeks, an additional week, and that one adds in perspective on modern parenting and talking about social media and just the unique challenges that parents face nowadays. And also, I added a lot of new exercises to work through
Oh, okay.
different feelings and emotions. And so I'm really excited for the second edition
Hmm.
because it just adds a little bit more educational information, like with
Okay.
modern parenting and social media and gender identity, that just adds more to their toolbox.
Hmm. Okay. Uh, in December, you will release another book, The Queer Black Mental Health Handbook, written by you and K. Chelsea Davis. So spill the tea on that.
Yeah, one, I will say, I do not recommend releasing two books in 1 year. That is not a good idea. My brain has a lot of,
Prolific, prolific.
yeah, I'm kind of jumping back and forth between the two. But yes, I am really excited for this book. I Love My Queer Kid is a workbook, which is a different process to write. This book is a reading book, a reading self-help book. And to write it with one of my best friends, Chelsea, has been so fulfilling because we're both Black, we're both queer, and we're both mental health experts. We're both therapists.
All
And
right.
so writing a Black queer mental health handbook, um, I mean, it's there's unique challenges that we face as a community, as the different intersections that come together.
Hmm.
And so we wanted to put the spotlight and the focus on queer people that are Black and help teach people more about mental health, help people learn more about themselves and grow. And at the end of the day, we only work with people on the individual basis. Like I have a set amount of clients that I meet with, and I've helped hundreds of people, but there's only so much I can do in my lifetime.
Yeah, that's
And I
right.
know Chelsea feels the same. So getting out a book where maybe someone's never been in therapy or never thought about therapy, but they're like, hey, I'm queer and Black. Maybe I'll check out this book. And maybe that might motivate them to start a therapy journey or start a healing journey. And so I'm really excited for this book to come out in December because there's no other book out there like this.
Mm. You need seriously, you need to come back in December to talk about that book. Yeah,
I would love to come back. Yes.
definitely. Yeah, definitely, definitely. So now, where can we purchase I Love My Queer Kid and the Queer Black Mental Health Handbook?
You can pretty much pre-order it anywhere you get books.
Hmm.
Um, I try not to support Bezos too much, but I know
Yeah,
people
no.
are super dependent on their
Yeah.
Amazon. But there's a website called bookshop.org where
Okay.
you can connect your pre-order to your local independent bookstore.
Oh,
And
okay.
so with these books, you can, if you live in Atlanta, you can click the bookstore down the street and pre-order it from there versus giving your money to Amazon. But yeah, you can get it anywhere that you order books.
Okay, cool. I want to ask you a few more salient questions. And
Absolutely.
sure, the first one, my friend, is this. What advice would you give someone struggling to reconcile their sexuality with their faith or and family expectations? Because that's tough.
Ooh, that is very, very tough. Um, I think one is let's never to rush the process. I mean, those are two big things. Your identity is very internal, uh, and your faith can be very expansive, and it's tied to family dynamics a lot of times and values.
Hmm.
And I think just being able to shape your view, your faith, and your beliefs in a way that supports your acceptance
Hmm.
and supports your growth. And that can be a really hard process because you might have to unlearn some things that you learned and reteach yourself new things. Or you can maybe find a different leader in that community, in that religious or spiritual community that can help you with that. That's more aligned with your values and more accepting of your identities. But it's a really hard and long road to go down. And that's a very common challenge for LGBTQ people is to try to integrate their religion and spirituality with their identities. And unfortunately, sometimes it's hard to do that and especially have your family's expectations be met as well.
Hmm.
And in some cases, it actually might be better to discard some of those beliefs and replace them with new ones.
Hmm. Hmm.
But
That
that's a very complicated question, and um, it it's complicated, and at the same time, a lot of us go through that. I know I went through that myself.
hmm Me too. Me too. Hmm. Okay. Ah, what's something what is something people often assume about therapists that's completely wrong?
Oh, okay.
I,
Another
I
amazing
I'm a
question.
proponent of therapy, by the way, but I wanted to ask that
I
question.
love
Yep.
that.
Yeah, I am.
Oh, well, one thing, I'm trying not to use social media examples because that can sometimes not be based in what the average person believes, but
Mhm.
I think sometimes people can downplay just how much therapists care for and think about their clients.
Oh,
Like
really? Okay.
it it can't shut off. Like you watch a TV show and something happens, and then you think about this client that you're helping, or life happens and you become inspired, like, oh, I could use this to help this client. And so for many of us, it's not just a job, it's fulfilling and meaningful work. And we're just, we care deeply about our clients and want the best for them always. And we think about them always, even though not the healthiest and it can be exhausting, but there's a good balance that comes with time.
Cool. Okay. How do you personally define mental wellness?
Hmm. Yeah. Mental wellness is peace. I think mental wellness is allowing joy to come into your life. Mental wellness is self love and self acceptance.
Mhm.
Um, Mental wellness is slowing down. Mental wellness is resting. Mental wellness is shaping your life in the way that works for you. And that is a very privileged thing. And that's a very hard thing to do.
Mhm.
And it takes a lot of creative thinking and flexible thinking. But I do believe that a lot of us can make small tweaks that just work a little bit better for our mental health. Um,
Mm.
and for example, with my own work, I used to have sessions at 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. I
Mhm.
have never been a morning person ever in my life. Ever, ever, ever. I hope to one day be one, but I've never been one.
Okay.
And so making the conscious decision that even though I might see a few less clients during the week,
Mhm.
I'm going to start my day at 11 because I want to wake up and go for a walk or go to the gym
Mhm.
and then jump into therapy sessions. That is a tweak that came with some sacrifice, maybe a little less income coming in, but the mental, just the wellness, yeah, the mental wellness of doing that is just immense, and I will probably never go back to sessions before 11 or 10 a.m. because 9 a.m. is not it for me.
You know, I have to do something, and this is it. Let me tell you something. I am I am so glad that you are mentally okay up here in the head so that you can so that you can properly treat your client. So if you've got to start at 11 a.m., start at 11 a.m.
Yes.
I totally get it.
Right. Yeah. I'm not as good of a therapist at 9 a.m. and that's okay. There are other therapists that can meet people at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. I'm
Mm,
not the one, and that's okay.
that's right. Okay, here's another one for you. What's one self-care habit everyone should adopt?
Ooh, wow, back to back. Okay, these are great questions. Hmm. The immediate one that comes to mind is um, sunlight
Ah,
outside.
right, right.
And I don't mean outside like exercise, even just stepping outside, breathing fresh air, listening to the rustling of the trees, listening to the birds. It can be very grounding and it can bring you back to the present. It can bring you a little bit more calm or more peace. It just slows life down a little bit, and I think that allows for other things to come into your life. So I think, yeah, getting outside is probably one of the bigger ones for me.
Okay. Now, Mr. Campbell, your work can be emotionally demanding, intellectually intense. So, what helps you to unwind? What makes you laugh? What brings you joy?
Oh, I love video games. Sometimes, I mean, I only have 15 minutes in between sessions, but sometimes 5 of those minutes, I'll load up a game real quick, play a little bit. It helps me reset before I dive into another session. I love going for walks outside, like I said earlier. And yeah, just after a long day of work, watching TV with my husband and just being silly and laughing together is a great way to just like let go of all the stress and be good for the next day and the next group of clients.
Awesome. Now, give us all of your social media information. How do we connect with you? How do we follow you?
Yeah, so I have my Instagram. Sorry, I blinked there. I don't have TikTok. I don't know if I ever will, maybe one day, but my Instagram is Mental Health with Mark. And my website is www.bestselfmentalhealth.com. I also have an author website, mentalhealthwithmark.com. And yeah, you can find me anywhere there. If you have any questions about mental health, I'm happy to answer DMs or emails. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
All right. Well, Mr. Mark Campbell, thanks so much for dropping by, Wyatt. It's been enlightening and entertaining, and I appreciate all that you do very, very
Thank you
seriously.
so much. It's been a great interview. This is one of the best interviews I've ever had. This is really fun.
Well, see, look, that's the way I roll. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But listen, now, really, keep me up to date on the new book because
Yes.
actually, both of you all can come on the show if you want to.
Oh, I would love that. Yeah, I'd
Yeah,
love
you
to
would.
bring Chelsea.
Yeah, definitely. We'd have a blast. So yeah, just you let me know what's going on, and we'll make that happen.
I'll be back then.
All right, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.
You too. So there you have it. You can visit the official Wyatt podcast page at WyattEvans.com. Also at WyattEvans.com, check out Nothing Can Tear Us Apart, my sizzling and sensational gay, same gender loving men to men series of novels. Nothing Can Tear Us Apart is the continuing saga of Wesley and Antonio, two HAWT hot lovers who fight to keep their monogamous, intimate relationship alive and thriving against all the odds. And Tuesday, August the 18th, the newest installment in the Nothing Can Tear Us Apart series drops. It's called Ruthless. I said ruthless, yeah. Now, let me tell you something. I had to say that. Ruthless is electrifying. It's erotic. It's explosive. It's like a roller coaster ride that keeps you on the edge of your seats. Tuesday, August the 18th. Okay. Now you can follow me, your host, Wyatt O'Brien Evans, all across social media. Here it is, poof, in front of your very eyes. If you have comments, feedback, drop me a line at wyattonair@gmail.com. So until next time, y'all, woof, god damn it, woof, 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 woof.